So another day, another just weird situation, with Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever and people around the organization. We obviously have seen the Scott Agnes article here, where he basically said that Caitlin Clark, that Caitlin Clark brings a dark side to the Fever, and her fans are like a negative on the team, and it's a struggle dealing with her fans.
Are Caitlin Clark and the Fever really going to be traded? Yes, T vibes and murmuring on the internet are becoming more bizarre than a halftime mascot race. Did she get too many points? Oh, much of a smile? Too many jerseys sold. It's not the pregame lunch, and something doesn't seem right. Stay tuned as we delve into the confusion, make connections, and perhaps unearth the most ridiculous front office decision ever. Take out your popcorn. This one's going to be scorching than a Caitlin Logo 3.
Another good win by the Indiana Fever today versus Seattle Storm, but I got a big concern with Caitlin Clark, man. So it looks like the Fever have been figuring things out, man. So let's just say Clark comes back toward the end of the season. Fever do their thing in the playoffs. Let's just say, for the sake of my argument, the Fever win the championship, man. With Caitlin Clark having missed pretty much most of the regular season, would this championship not hold that much weight? Because I can already see the haters saying she missed most of the
Let's be clear. The Fever may as well hand out "we quit" signs with each ticket stump if they decide to trade Caitlin Clark. You believed that traffic in Indiana was terrible? Watch the throng of supporters running to the squad that receives number 22. What did they get in exchange for the most marketable, talked about, and Googled player in women's sports? A bag containing a potential second-round pick and a few slightly used warm-up towels. Please.
He literally said, and he was like, there are some people that are not here for basketball, not here for the Fever, but are only here for Caitlin Clark. It's like, if you're a fan of a player and you're here for the basketball and you're there watching games and everything, you're a fan of a player playing basketball. I don't see there's an issue with that. And according to his thing, to him, he was talking about how it was such a struggle for the team, and obviously he's someone who has access to the team. And he mentioned that, the fans coming on saying fuck.
As Clark is the main event, the Fever's arena would go from packed to echo chamber faster than you could say. Worst trade in sports history. She's not only selling out games, but entire cities every time she takes the court. Concession stands are completely destroyed. Merchandise tables resemble a looted Black Friday aisle, and then all of a sudden, everyone's grandma has a number 22 jersey, and you're telling us that they throw that away like yesterday's box score.
A little disappointed in Sophie's take is that, she's right. It's just that she did say, and I thought this was a better explanation, she was saying that when she played in Phoenix, that she was in the locker room, and so many of the players in the locker room were saying things like, oh, we're going to show Caitlin Clark what the W is really about, and would sort of go after her. And in some ways you can understand that because she was a rookie in the league. But ultimately, when you see all this vitriol of people who cannot stand her, it's like, okay, well, what has she done wrong? Yeah. She's a great basketball player.
Mating is not math. The one player that elevated your club from background noise to major drama is not someone you deal. Prior to Clark, the majority of WNBA players were unable to recognize the Fever insignia in a lineup. They are now the league's Beyoncé. Trending front and center. A hat isn't coaching. Caitlin is that person.
A badass and a trash talker, and gives it as good as she gets it. And she is an object of scorn for good reason. She's awesome. She's swaggery. She does turn your home crowd into a road crowd. She is a frustrating player to guard all of it. And if she is, for some of these teams, a bit of a villain, that's sweet. It only will make her better. She is already one of the 3 or 4 best players in the sport, as a lot of us thought she would be in short order.
They would also be attempting to become relevant if they made a trade. Because Clark is more than just a player, let's face it. She is a media machine on wheels. She is followed by cameras as if she were a debt to them. Every shot she makes is featured on your cousin's TikTok, 3 podcasts, and 5 separate sports broadcasts. If you trade her, the spotlight will disappear. Poof. In mid-June, fade away like your playoff ambitions. This is where things get even better. Clark would instantly become a member of America's team, regardless of which team landed. Immediately. It makes no difference if it's a team in a place with more cows than people, Minnesota or Seattle. When you put that number 22 on a jersey, the team's fan base suddenly grows compared to the Super Bowl. That group will remove the person who is stealing my money more quickly than Caitlyn makes 3 logos. The Fever would be attempting to hype up a gritty rebuild while sitting in a quiet arena. How cute, oh. They believe that effective defense and community outreach are the only reasons for the abrupt increase from 2,000 spectators and a popcorn machine to sold-out stadiums. It's like believing that the churros are the main reason people visit Disneyland. Mickey Mouse was the reason they came. Macintosh is Caitlyn.
Fever posted this about Caitlin Clark to give the official what is going on with Caitlyn's injury. So they said Caitlin Clark underwent further medical evaluations earlier this week, which confirmed that no additional injuries or damage was discovered. Clark will continue working with the medical team on her recovery and rehabilitation with the priority on her long-term health and well-being. There is no timetable available for her return. But I do think it's interesting that ESPN has listed August 12th as a possible return date for Caitlin Clark. But the internet noticed something specific that Holly Rowe had to say on the broadcast. Holly Rowe said that before the last return after a quad injury, she had no—
This fan base isn't typical. This movement is full-fledged. These folks aren't only observing. They're on the road to Harry Publishing. They are transforming WNBA League Pass into the summer's most popular streaming service. If Clark is performing trick shots in a different city, do you believe they'll stay and support the Fever's upcoming chapter? Not at all like Swifties, but with superior free throw form, they will follow her wherever. There is a naive belief that the squad will remain competitive and the supporters would remain devoted after Clark leaves. In response, I respectfully wish you well. Since unless you're swapping her out for you're not even close to being an agenetically produced super player who can win MVP, sell tickets, play point, hit threes, and kill boredom all at once, you're experiencing regrets and tumbleweeds, ETs discuss money. It wouldn't only be a poor basketball decision to trade Caitlin Clark. T would be considered financial malpractice. IT would be like to Apple sacking Tim Cook and appointing a Roomba to take his place if she were let go.
You know, she didn't play most of the games to get them to the playoffs, all of that. She won a championship and she was hurt most of the season, and the team was out there winning games without her. I can already see people saying that, man. So I'm just curious, man, because I'm thinking damn, Clark has missed a lot of this time. You play the regular season to get to the playoffs. Clark has missed most of the season so far. So if she won a title this year, having been injured most of this season, and then her first championship would be her being hurt most of the time, how would that championship rank for y'all? Would it not hold that much weight? Would it just be, a win is a win?
And don't even begin with the argument that it might be better for all parties. Who is it best for? The bookkeepers? The merchandiser who needs to print team effort shirts out of the blue since nobody else is purchasing anything else at 2 in the morning. The PR intern was rewriting tweets to clarify why the arena was only half full. Addition by subtraction is not what this is. It's delusion-based subtraction. A lesson in how to burn down your own home while congratulating yourself on finding fire would be provided by trading Clark. The only thing you'd be adding to the team is chaos and perhaps a fresh wave of where did it all go wrong? Consider parts. These days, it's not just about basketball. It's momentum, cultural influence, identity, and brand. Therefore, unless the Fever there isn't a trade package worth the consequences, if someone has surreptitiously figured out how to clone Caitlyn, teach the clone to shoot better, talk sassier, and appear even more awesome in slow motion. No lineup of players, picks, and pledges that can light up the scoreboard, pack the stadium, and ignite social media like she does.
Be clear about this. If Caitlin Clark were not in the WNBA, we would not be talking about the WNBA. She is the only ticket draw in the WNBA. A large percentage of all tickets sold in the WNBA are so people can watch Caitlin Clark play basketball. No one cares about Angel Reese. Should be drawing flies if she were playing not against Caitlin Clark on the court right now. Angel Reese has basically become the Bill Laimbeer to Caitlin Clark's Larry Bird.
At the ultimately, The message is straightforward. You cannot expect the planet to continue orbiting as if nothing had happened after trading the sun. The entire galaxy changes when you trade Caitlin Clark. Hopefully, you won't be the ones left out. At this point, reality begins to do backflips and logic formally taps out. The individuals in charge of this operation appear to believe that the fever is the reason why followers are watching. Millions of people are enchanted by the name Indiana, its colors, and its emblem, as though a mid-range hit from someone other than Caitlin would keep the country riveted to their screens. Let's face it, this fan base would much rather follow Clark to the league's weakest team than act as though they care about a competitive roster without her. Do you believe that a rebuilding arc has people interested? Not at all. They have a strong interest in the Clark movie universe. The entire cast is not the reason they are here. The primary character is the reason they are here. This was demonstrated the previous season, when fans followed every Iowa game as if it were the NBA Finals before dissipating as soon as the fever season ended. The playoffs? I've never heard of them. Someone seems to have pressed Caitlin's emergency exit button, and poof. Ratings declined, social media went into hibernation, and attendance fell.
That she's the face of the league, and that's understandable because there have been fantastic players in the WNBA for a long time. But Caitlin didn't disparage them. She just came in and kind of changed the game with her style. So I think it's one of those things where you have to say, okay, maybe I don't think it's fair based on the previous women who have been in this league, but it's not Caitlin's fault. All she's done is elevate the game for all of us. And I think instead of being pissed off about that, you should be appreciative of that and say, maybe it's not fair, but it's not your fault.
You're not dealing with a vague fandom here. For her fan base, this is a ride or die. Burn the boat or storm the court situation. They weren't here to be loyal to the team. Clark made basketball seem like magic, which is why they came here. She coolly leaves like it's just another Tuesday after dropping 30, like it's a warm-up and staring down defenders like she's creating a diss track in her brain. Do you really believe those fans are staying to see some freshly drafted replacements miss 3 consecutive layups and gritted defensive sets? Not a chance. In actuality, you could still sell out the building if you gave Caitlin a jersey and a group of real scarecrows. She might be part of a team with 1 employee, 0 assistance defense, 2 ball racks, and a scoreboard. The majority of teams hope to develop a devoted following over many years. When Clark appears, there is an immediate following, immediate significance, and worldwide interest. She smashed the needle off the dial, rather than merely moving it. She has more fans than anyone else in the league. It surpasses the entire existence of some teams. 1 walking highlight clip, 1 player, and 1 movement.
On TickPick after Caitlin Clark injury. The getting price for the Chicago Sky versus Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever game was $86. After Caitlin Clark's injury announcement is now down to $25. And you Angel Reese fangirls will still believe and think that Angel Reese is the reason why people are watching the WNBA. Since y'all want to make it about race, this white girl over here is the reason why fans are tuning in to watch the WNBA, not because...
Thus, consider how hilarious it would be to try to persuade them to stick with the Fever after they have traded the actual reason they are aware of the team's existence. It's similar to launching a tour with the main act and asking why the backup yodeler didn't get any support. Clark is the tail, not only a character in it. There are narrative holes and vacant chairs when she is gone. Furthermore, these supporters aren't exactly casuals. These individuals are more familiar with Caitlin's statistics than their own phone numbers. They have her jersey, mixtapes, merchandise, and other colorways. They debate in comment sections, rewatch games, watch press conferences, and get completely enthralled with a cross-court pass. This is almost devotional, not merely admiring. Observe the number of viewers while Caitlin is performing triple-doubles in a different jersey, and the only source of the Fever buzz is a mosquito in section 112. There is no system being watched by these fans. They're observing a show, and the attention departs along with the show. The dollars do the same. The fans who screamed and flew across the country just to see her warm up.
A lot of great things is going to happen for the WNBA. But for her individually, I don't think she should get involved on nothing that's being said. Just go, have fun, enjoy. But I'm rooting for Caitlin because I've been in that seat before. I've walked that road before. I hope she kills. I hope Aaliyah Boston does amazing.
This is what makes the whole situation amusing in a tragically humorous manner. The Fever have more than one player on their hands. The key to a whole movement is in their possession. They can also be unaware that it's game over if they make a mistake. Not only on the court, but also in the ticket office, marketing room, and every Grow the Game meeting they will ever go to. Because it would instantly become must-watch TV if Clark were to play for a squad that has only won 3 games in 5 seasons. She would arrive, transform the culture, raise spirits, treble revenue, and make defenders appear like unpaid interns. The supporters wouldn't simply follow. They would begin booking flights, increase their cable packages, and crash the team's website while attempting to purchase tickets. Do you believe that type of electricity will be replaced by a few pick and rolls? Basketball optimism isn't that. That is a combination of delusion and denial. You won't merely lose a player if you trade her. You'll become irrelevant, lose your audience, and lose your identity. And you'll see how Caitlin Clark elevates a struggling team to a dynasty, while Indiana falls further behind. I'm curious in how they convert gold to dust.
A lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness, she and the Indiana Fever accounted for 45% of all the broadcast value of the WNBA last season. She accounted also for helping drive the numbers of merchandising up 500%. Of course, her jersey was #1. And most importantly, I think people look at this and think she said no. That's not the case. She said she wants her first competition to be an Indy at WNBA.
And when Caitlin Clark quietly revealed the facts at the All-Star game, she did it best without even seeming to be dubious. 8 years into her illness, Kelsey Mitchell played through the gloomy years of a single operating concession stand. Only one depressing concession booth. The sound of popcorn kernels popping alone could be heard. The Fever are currently drawing 17,000 spectators to each game. Concession stands had to proliferate like rabbits to keep up after Draft Clark. We are discussing a sudden increase from 4,000 to 17,000 as if it were a Tuesday. It's not just seats and butts, either. TV ratings are skyrocketing. Products are flying off the shelves. Business sponsors are scurrying out of the woodwork, pleading to plaster their logos on everything that moves. She is attracting attention more quickly than a TMZ scandal and creating money more quickly than the US Treasury. A player wasn't the only one affected by the Fever. Such a choice would not just get media attention. It had evolved into a warning story that was taught in masterclasses on sports business under the heading of How to Ruin Everything. From crickets to commotion, from vacant seats to full-blown hysteria, the Fever advanced. Caitlin Clark is traded. Might as well turn the lights off on your way.